Easy, boys, easy. Yeah, y'all are on TV. Look, y'all can wave. Wave, but don't don't talk. Welcome, everyone, to this August 20th, 2026 meeting of the Ascension Parish Council. I'd like to call to order. At this time, I'm going to ask Mr. Joseph to lead us in the invocation only, because we do have a young man who's going to lead us in the pledge afterwards. So if everyone would please stand.
Bow our head. Dear Lord, bless this great nation, bless this great state, bless this great parish. Bless all the council members here tonight to make the right decision for this great parish. And most of all, bless all the armed forces service members who serve this great country for our freedom we have tonight. Amen.
Amen. Whoa. Hang tight. We got a special guest. Let's see. There he is. Look, just point the microphone down to you. There you go. We'll start when you start.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberties and justice for all.
There we go. Thank you very much, young man. All right, moving on to agenda item number 2, roll call. Mr. Arsenault is running late, but he is absent at this moment, and Ms. Alonzo is absent as she is representing us at the Police Juror Association regional meeting on our behalf. All other members are present. Chair's addition, the chair has no additions tonight. And agenda item number 4, the public comment sign-in period. If anyone would like to speak on any of our agenda items, come see Ms. McKee over here. We have the red and green cards. Fill that out, and when we get to that agenda item, you will have 3 minutes to speak at the podium. And that's going to lead us right into item number 5, presentations. And at this time, I haven't seen Chief. Is Chief here? Oh, yeah, Chief. There you go, Chief. Our first presentation is going to be recognition of volunteer firefighters and Acadian ambulance employees involved in life-saving CPR event on July 26, 2026. And I'm going to turn it over to Chief LeBlanc.
Thank you, Council. Thank you, Parish President. Thank you, Ascension Parish residents. And thank you, Ascension Parish Baseball, for being here in big numbers tonight. So tonight we're going to recognize some first responders, some volunteer first responders, and some Acadian ambulance employees that responded to a CPR call, cardiac arrest call, on July 26 in the Santa Maria area. And I was going to do a speech tonight, but I got a letter today from the family, and I thought the letter from the family was more suitable than me boring you with a speech. And we do have some of the family members in the back, if you would wave. So thank y'all so much for being here. And then the individual that we performed the CPR on, he didn't come tonight for one reason and one reason only, because he didn't want to take the praise away from these first responders getting praise. So he felt like if he would be here, then everybody would be wanting to praise him, but he wanted these people to get recognized. So let me just read a little letter, and then after I read the letter, each individual I call up will come see the parish president. They'll get their plaque, and then we'll go in front of the council and take a group picture. To the dispatchers, first responders, paramedics, and everyone on the emergency team who helped save my dad on July 26, 2026. There are moments in life that divide everything into a before and to an after. For our family, July 26 was one of those days. That afternoon, my dad suffered a heart attack and went into cardiac arrest. In a matter of minutes, an ordinary Sunday became one of the most terrifying days our family has ever experienced. Before you arrived, talking about the first responders, my brother was performing CPR while other family members worked with dispatch, counting compressions, checked for the pulse, listened for breathing, prayed, and did everything they could to keep him alive. Then you arrived and you took over. In the middle of our fear and chaos, you brought knowledge, calm, urgency, and hope. You performed the work that you have been trained to do. But to our family, it was much more than a job. Every compression, every shock, every decision, every set of hands, and every second mattered. Because of the efforts of everyone involved, from the dispatcher on the phone to the first responders and paramedics who arrived at the scene, to those who helped get him safely to the hospital, and to the hands of the cardiac team, my dad was given another chance. Today, he is here. He is awake. He is talking. He is walking. He is back at work just 3 weeks later, and would have went back to work sooner if we wouldn't have encouraged him to stay off a little longer. We still get to hear his voice. We still get to hug him, laugh with him, and make more memories with him. Those may sound like ordinary things, but after July 26, we know just how extraordinary they really are. There are truly no words big enough to express what it means to know that people we may have never met before that day showed up and fought for my dad's life, and it's where the most important thing in the world to us. We also know that emergency responders often leave one call and move immediately to the next call. You may not always get to know what happens afterwards. You may not get to see the family standing beside the hospital bed or witness the prayers of gratitude when someone opens their eyes. You may not see all the birthdays, the holidays, the dinners, the conversations, the hugs, the ordinary days that happened because someone was given more time. So we wanted you to know what happened after you left us that day. And our family will never forget them. Our family will never forget who helped make that possible. Our faith carried us through those terrifying moments, and we truly believe God placed the right people in the right places at the right time. Each of you were a part of the answered prayer. Thank you for choosing a profession that asks you to run towards people on some of their worst days of their lives. Thank you for training. Thank you for your courage and your quick decisions and your sacrifices you make for this parish every day. Most of all, thank you for giving our family something we could never repay you for, more time with our dad. Please know that July 26th will forever be a day our family members, not only because of how close we came to losing him, but because of every person who helped bring him back. So from the bottom of our hearts, we cannot thank you enough, Ascension Parish first responders and Acadian Ambulance, the Babin family. So I'll call up the testing 1, 2. I'll call up the individuals, and they'll receive their plaque from the parish president, and then they'll go stand in front of the council, and we'll take a group picture. We'll start off with Blake Stone. Devin Wells. Lee Frederick. Sean Frederick. Dylan Abair. Test. Riley Miller. Bryce Ponville. Jeff Kelly is in EMT class tonight.
Blake.
Is this working? Is it working? So Jeff Kelly's in EMT class tonight. He couldn't be here. And Morgan Wilson, who works for Acadian Ambulance, is on vacation. But we do have Josh Allen with Acadian Ambulance here. Dakota Jenkins. Bobby Joe Nobles. And residents of Ascension, I just want all y'all to know what you see up here today, receiving these plaques, is all volunteers. Nobody gets paid for anything they do.
thank you, Chief, for that presentation, and thank you very much to volunteers, life-saving acts. I don't know if we can ever give the proper amount of gratitude that deserves, but I like to remind everyone, when you see them red and blue lights coming down the road, pull over. They're going after someone. Could be your family. Let's not get in their way. So that's a huge pet peeve of mine. And look, young men, I'm asking y'all, so did y'all see when they came up, they came through the doors and we stood in the line right here? Look, so whenever your team comes up, we're going to do the same thing, okay? We'll have your certificates. We'll get y'all to stand up, and we're going to take a picture, and we're going to do all 4 teams individually, okay? And at this time, I'm going to turn it over to you, Mr. Smith.
Thank you. Good evening, council. Good evening, audience and staff members. I have the great pleasure this evening to introduce some amazing young men. So on behalf of Ascension Parish government, I want to extend a congratulations to all of our 2026 Little League state champions. The Ascension 7 and 8-year-old Coaches Pitch All-Stars, the 10U Navy All-Stars, the 11U Navy All-Stars, and to the 12U Major Navy All-Stars who proudly represented Ascension in Waco, Texas at the Southwest Regional. To the players, your hard work, sportsmanship, and determination made this incredible season possible and carried you to the top of Louisiana baseball. With our 12U majors taking it all the way to the Southwest Regional Championship game. You played with heart, represented Ascension Parish with immense pride, and made our entire community proud. To the coaches and assistant coaches, these state titles and regional successes are a direct reflection of your leadership, patience, and unwavering commitment to guiding these young athletes and building strong, unified teams. And to the families, thank you for your endless support, long drives, and dedication behind the scenes that helped fuel this unforgettable season. Congratulations to every single player, coach, and family member on these outstanding accomplishments. You have given Ascension Parish so much to celebrate. Congratulations, guys. So at this time, what we would like for you to do, I'm gonna ask each team to come on up. You're gonna see President Quintmaw, and then receive your certificates, and we'll get a picture. But before we do that, I do want to introduce 3 people that help make this league possible, who each and every day are out there, blood, sweat, and tears, making things happen so that we have a quality AP baseball league day in and day out. Those individuals are Jason Doc Adams, come on forward. Wayne Grenfield. And Travis Tomplay. Take these over to. So at this time, I'd like for the Ascension 7 and 8-year-old Coaches Pitch All-Stars to please come forward. On the team are Baylor Bennett, Colton Todd, Kai Falgus, Brody Ledoux, Beckett Torito, Easton Temple, James Scheck-Snyder, Cameron Bourgeois, Benton Kelly, Shep Fontenot, Lawson Harang, Beckham Swear. Assistant coaches Ryan Falgus, Brandon Temple, Michael Bourgeois, and head coach of your team, Austin Todd.
They're looking at you, right? They're looking by you. They're looking at you.
Ready, guys? Ready? 1, 2, 3. You want to hold yours up?
And now, if I can have our AP 10U Navy All-Stars, please come forward. Team members. David Spalding, Kyle York, Briggs Shingler, Ellis LeBlanc, Chase Smith, Brantley Gautreaux, Blaze Bonadano, Rhett Fortier, Matthew McCarty, Jake Scheck-Snyder, Jai Ely, and Baylor Duhay. Assistant coaches, Rhett LeBlanc, Jamar Ely, and head coach, Doc Duhay. And now for our AP Little League 11-year-old Navy All-Stars, please come forward. Jackson Courtney, Judson Gubin, Brady Roper, Rowan Porcho, Lawson Crowder, Nash Falgust, Micah Hebert, Court Laird, Jax Fontenot, Andrew Fountain, Gannon Gunnis, Warden Briggs, assistant coaches Dexter Fontenot, Bucky Fountain, and head coach Larry Gunnis. And now to introduce, and we don't get this too often in baseball, we get this every once in a while. I want to extend a special congratulations to the Ascension Parish 12U Major Navy All-Stars on a historic and unforgettable 2026 postseason run. Winning a Louisiana State Championship is a massive achievement in itself, but taking that momentum all the way to Waco, Texas to compete on the big stage in the Little League World Series Southwest Region Tournament Championship made our entire community proud. Congratulations to the entire 12U Major Navy team on representing Ascension Parish with class and excellence on the regional stage. You have set a standard of achievement that will be remembered for years to come. Please come on up here and join me. Brock Purcell, Cooper Swear, Corbin Duran, Carter Howard, Liam Hull, Cohen LeBlanc, Trace Haydell, Luca Drago, Brooks Davis, John Landry, Knox Bork. Assistant coaches Travis Drago, Brett Duran, and head coach Kyle Swear.
T. Huh? I heard some of them all. Yeah. Wasn't friendly? Okay. Look, all right, boys. Hey, look, I want to tell y'all, man, I absolutely want to congratulate all four of y'all. As someone who grew up in, it was 25 years ago, but when I was roughly y'all's age playing AP baseball, let me tell y'all, we were not as good as y'all are. I can tell you right now, the few times I got to make All-Stars, we went to regionals and we were 2-Q, you know. So to watch what y'all in this league has done, look, Mr. Grenfield, Mr. Tomplay, Mr. Adams, what they've done over the last 5 or 6 years. I don't know how many dozens of state championships we have now. You know, I mean, look, I know half of y'all parents. Watching y'all on ESPN 2 weeks ago was very, very cool. So congratulate y'all, and I'm very happy for y'all. I wish y'all continued success forever. And where's 11U Navy at? Hey, it's up to y'all next year. They set the bar pretty high. So look, congrats to y'all, and I hope y'all have a great, you know, well, I was gonna say start of the school year, but y'all got a late start. So, and that's it. Look, young man, I will ask y'all. So we're about to have a meeting, and we have a lot more things to go through. So whenever it's time to leave, I ask y'all to do so very quietly, okay? All right? Thank y'all, and y'all have a great evening. It was a pleasure seeing everyone. I know. I better not hear no one say anything bad about teachers. And they're actually a lot quieter than I thought they were going to be. While waiting for them to clear out, Mr. President, do you have a report today?
Very short, Chair, but I can speak loud.
It's up to you.
All right, I'm fine whenever you're ready.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Thank you, Chairman Lawsaw. Good evening, Council. It's always great when we start a council meeting with presentations like this. You know, congrats to all the boys. They made us so proud, and best of luck to them throughout the rest of the year and next year as well. Let's also relay my sincere appreciation to our firefighters, Katie and ambulance for their personal and true dedication and commitment to our community, especially for one of our own here in Ascension Parish government. We all know who that is. And other than that, the parish is in great shape. And that concludes my report, Chair. Turn it over to you.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. All right, we'll continue on to agenda item number 7, the consent agenda. At this time, would anyone like to remove any item from the consent agenda for further discussion? Okay, hearing none, I have a motion to approve the consent agenda by Mr. Hillinsbeck with a second by Mr. Petey. Is there any objection? Hearing none, so moved. All right, 8A, general business. Presentations and approval of the Prefo's Hospital fiscal year 2027 operating and capital budgets. And we do have one public speaker, Mr. Spencer Chauvin. Is Mr. Yeah.
Good evening. Thanks for allowing me to speak this evening. I'm asking the council tonight to defer approval of the West Ascension Parish Hospital capital budget, and if necessary, any portion of the operating budget that can legally be deferred until some very basic financial and accountability questions are answered. And I want to make something very clear up front. I'm not asking you to shut down the hospital. I'm not asking you to close the emergency room, interrupt patient care, or stop employees from getting paid. We need a strong hospital in West Ascension. And accountability is not an attack on this hospital. Lack of accountability is. If we care about this hospital, then we should care enough to demand that public money is handled correctly. The hospital's 25 independent audit contained 11 separate findings. In reviewing more than 2 decades of this district's audits, I could not find another year remotely comparable. The previous high I found was 5, which is less than half. The findings included problems including financial controls, public bid law violations, potential misuse of public expenditures, employee bonuses, property acquisition, public records request violations, open meeting violations, collateral, and dual employment. But the most important finding for tonight's vote may be finding 2025-001. The auditors identified a material weakness in financial reporting. Multiple accounts required adjustment. Some balances lacked adequate supporting records, and the auditors warned that because inaccurate financial information was being provided to the board, the district, quote, may not have the ability to make appropriate financial decisions, end quote. Now think about that for a second. Because tonight, we don't just have an old audit telling us that there's a problem. The budget packet sitting in front of you contains financial information that does not reconcile. Then look at the 5-year capital plan. Some columns don't add up at all, and some of the numbers are off as much as $150,000 in their budget tonight. Maybe those are clerical mistakes. Can you, with good conscience, approve that mistake? But after an independent auditor just identified a material weakness in financial reporting and questioned the reliability of information reaching the board, the parish council should not have to guess at which numbers in a budget are correct. Which organizations received close to $150,000 in donations for which the auditor said the district did not receive equivalent value or services? Who received the approximately $65,000 in unauthorized bonuses? Under what circumstances and who approved them? Why was property appraised at $296,000 and then purchased at $319,000, the difference of $23,500? Why did a public bid law finding carry over from 1 year to the next for 2 years? And most importantly, where's the accountability? Your policies tell us.
That's your time, Mr. Chauvin.
This is some documents if you wanted to pass out that show where all the mistakes are in the budget that they put together.
Yeah, if you want to hand that to Ms. McKee right there, or Mr. Jarris. Thank you.
There's 12 of them in there if you want to pass them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I'd like to make a motion to defer this until we have an opportunity to take this information ourselves and look more into it.
Gotcha. We haven't heard the presentation yet. We do have the CEO here. But I do have a motion from Mr. Robert to defer approving the budget until, I need a deadline, Mr. Robert.
Next month is gone. Same meeting next month.
Until the second meeting of September. What's the date on that, Ms. McKee? That would be,
The 17th?
okay. So I have a motion to defer until September 17th of 2026. All right, so we do have a second by Mr. Hillensbeck. So I'd really like to. Okay. So we do have a motion on the floor, but we still want to hear a presentation and ask questions, things like that. So please.
Good afternoon, Parish Council, Parish President. It's a pleasure once again to stand before you all. I'm Shelton Anthony. I am the CEO here at West Ascension Parish Hospital, along with our CFO, Mr. Matt Knowles. We stand here because we stand for accountability. So the gentleman just asked for accountability. We stand for that accountability for each and every one of you. One thing I would like to say is our financials have been audited. Our financials are accurate.
Now, Mr. Sheldon, could you please speak in the mic?
Yes,
I
sir.
believe there's a mobile right there, if that works better for you.
Perfect. But, Matt, our financials have been audited and our financials are accurate. So this afternoon, we bring before this council the fiscal 27 operating and capital budget. So let's just tell you the backstory. So we are transparent in our financial overview. This provides a very clear, easy to understand budget. And our budget details, it builds trust on our community. We talk about our funding sources. So we highlight the Medicare disproportionate share. We talk about our sales tax, and we talked about the grants and the capital improvements that we have completed at the hospital. But we also talk about that commitment to quality care. That's focusing on sustaining the services that we have, expanding the access that we have, and improving patient experience that's locally for the residents on the west side. And we also talk about our long-term responsibility. So, let's talk about the current state of the hospital. Councilman Joseph, you always mention about quality health care. But our fiscal 26 forecast shows that we have a net operating income of $818,000, which the gentleman said was incorrect. That's reflecting stable finances despite the industry changes. Councilman Longson, you talk about community and our community trust. You see, our hospital still remains a trusted healthcare resource that's offering essential services over there in Donaldsonville. We talk about focusing on workforce stability, quality care, and operational efficiency. And we'll also talk about the future growth in the investments. I'm not going to lecture you on the statistics of Ascension Parish and the poverty rate and about the poverty rate of Assumption. I'm not going to go over that with you. But I am going to tell you some highlights. Councilman Joseph, we brought and we opened, with the help of this council from last year, we brought our telerheumatology clinic, something that the West Bank has not had. We had patients that were seeing their rheumatologist that was waiting for 6 months. Now they can call the hospital, and Councilman Cullen, they can get an appointment that same day. We also reopened our wound care clinic. We talked about we have a brand new wound care clinic that's tailoring to our patients that have those most wounds that are not even healing properly. We also brought together a new foundation. We have a brand new website. Councilman Arsenault, I challenge you to go and look at that website because it shows you all of the resources and everything that we're doing for the district. Also, we brought in, the new 340B pharmacy pricing that's helping our patients to be able to have accessible pharmacy. All right, we talk about our cafeteria, and that's one of the pride and joys of our hospital. Now we have affordable meals for all of our patients each and every day. September 19th, and I'm so grateful that this council is a part of it, but we have the Love Impact. Mr. President, I thank you because we're bringing the Love Impact free clinic to Donaldsonville, and then in October, we're going to have it here in Gonzales, which is going to bring in more patients that did not have that access to health care. But guess what? We can be able to provide free medical, free dental, free vision. That's the importance of this organization and what we are doing. So we are proud that September 1st is our epic go live. You see, we was able to partner with FMOL and St. Elizabeth, and they have helped us to bring in Epic. So now all of our patients have My Chart on their phones. That's access to health care. That's something that this council wanted. We also will have a new behavioral health clinic that will be opening October 1st. We have our swing bed unit that will be opening October 1st. We will have our physical therapy department that will be opening October 1st. Why? Because access to health care is important for our residents on the West Bank. We also will be bringing our OmniCell, which is our pharmacy, storage and medication cabinet, something that we did not have to make sure that we have that safety for the patients. And we also brought in new medical IV pumps. So let's look at our fiscal 27 budget. And this is a very conservative budget, Matt. And this budget projects a 5% growth in patient revenue and 3% growth in operating expenses over our 12 months. All right, when you look at our patient revenue, it's forecasted at $16 million, with a net income estimated at $1.15 million. So as we look, and on your screen, you see your net operating revenue is at $16 million. Your reductions to revenue is at $5.8 million. Your other operating revenue, so this is our Medicare disproportionate share, brings in around $2.9 million. Your sales tax is $2.2 million, and our interest at $425,000. So that gives us $15.8 million. But then when you look at our net operating expenses, so for our contract labor, that's at 1.2. My salaries and my wages for my staff is at 5.1. And our total employee-related expense is $6 million. When you talk about professional services at 3.6, other expenses at 3.7, and our supplies is right at $839,000. Give us our total net operating expense of $14.9 million. That gives us our $1.1 million in total net income. So we did look at it on a annual because, we want to be very transparent. So it showed what we did in FY25. Total net income was at $887,000. When we annualized until June of this year, it came out to be $817,000, which our fiscal year ends August 31st. So we're looking at almost $940,000 for total net income. And FY27 is looking at $1.1 million. So that's where we're at. We talk about our strategic community funding, building on our disproportionate share for the hospital fund. And that's due to, we have a heavy Medicaid and Medicare population. So that helps offset us being a service hospital. When you look at our sales tax revenue, and we are very fortunate to have our sales tax, and it's continued to increase, and we are very fortunate for that. We look at our rural transformation funds and those grants that are coming out. We are so fortunate that we have a state that is putting into rural health care. So those funds can be allocated to offset what we are doing. And then our commitment to transparency. And our leadership is here, and we are ensuring responsible, transparent use of the funds that we can maximize our community health community. Looking at our capital investments, all right, so we look at our FY27 and our current hospital. She has been around for a long time, so we have to continue to put investments in her. So we're looking at $125,000. When you think about our rural health clinic, and this is something that Councilman Joseph is always telling us, that we gotta make sure that we're bringing more health care. So we're looking at $100,000 for that. But then also, our commitment that the board has laid out and the commitment that the community will like is a new hospital. So we are starting that design phase. No, we do not have the total number. We don't have that. But we do have a number that the architects and the engineers, as well as our program manager, has said this is what phase one will look like. So we're asking for $250,000. So that's a total of $475,000 on capital investments for this FY27. And then I would like to just say this about our annual audit, and then I'm gonna turn it to Matt and then help you for any questions. But we are strengthening our financial oversight and our procedures to ensure that the required reports and the filings are completed within the state timelines. We are already, and we have already updated our purchasing and all of our policies that was needed for this. And we have established clear requirements for our compensations related to the agreements, and such as, stricter standards for compensation and separation agreements. But we also have improved our public records requests. And I get a lot of public records requests, public meeting processes and procedures. But we do that with full transparency. So, Councilman Longson, this has been great. I just want to let you know and the council know that our organization is doing the work that you all have established for us in the parameters that you want, and that is to take care of the population of all of Ascension, not just West, but we all are one people. So I am glad to stand before you. I turn it over to Matt, and then we'll have any questions that you may have.
Thanks, Sean. Yeah, just quickly, I'm Matt Knowles. I'm actually with Malden and Jenkins for office out of Metairie, but we're a top 40 firm in the nation. Shelton has contracted with us for me to be the outsourced CFO, and so I'm working closely with him, his team, the auditors, to make sure that the financials put out are complete and accurate. I work closely with Shelton on this budget to make sure that that's complete and accurate, and going forward, just helping him in whatever financial role he needs.
Okay. All right. At this time, it looks like we do have a few with some questions. I'm going to go to you first, Mr. PT.
First, let me say, yes, we see improvement. I see a level of elevation in your area, what you guys are doing. I think the operational side of what you're trying to do is good. I think you have the right idea, and you've got to build trust on that side, right, based on where we are. I will say this, though, and I will ask, have we provided the council, the parish attorneys, anything with any kind of resolution for the audit findings, specifically compensation bylaws? I'm talking about the bonuses. We just haven't seen anything. And I'll be honest, as a council, we have to be a good steward of tax dollars. That's our job. And at the end of the day, one of the only controls we have is whether or not we approve your budget.
Yes, sir.
And that weighs heavily on us. So anytime we see audit findings, even us, even as a parish administration, when we have audit findings, it's something we're very concerned about. So I'll say that, and then the second part involves the board. The board meetings lately have had audio issues. I think 4 or 5 meetings have had audio issues, and I'm concerned about running into that open meetings violation stuff.
Yes,
so I really, that's kind of the two parts. I'm very concerned about compensation bylaws because I think what you guys are doing is good. I do. However, we have to do it above board and, like you say, transparent. And if you can, if you can point to me or fix the problem in a bylaw and say, well, they qualified for a bonus because of A, B, and C,
Yes,
or whatever that may be. But I don't think that exists at the moment, and that's an issue for me. That if we're gonna pay, and look, that employee may very well deserve it. There's no doubt about it. But we do have to follow the rules, and we do have to be transparent about it.
Yes.
So having said that, audit findings, not all are necessarily nefarious in my belief. Okay, it can be some coding issues. It can be something that was put in the wrong bucket. I understand that. But my biggest concern is I don't want it to look as such that, oh, we're going to pay this person this much because they're a good person, or they did this, or they worked there. Hey, look, if they're an hourly employee and they worked it, that's pretty common sense. But if they're a great employee and that's what it takes to keep them, then we need to come to us and figure out, or at the board, and figure out how to run a set of bylaws to make sure that person is adequately compensated so you don't lose them. Because I do understand you're fighting a battle where you need to find all-stars to work where you are. I get it. You're in a tough place. And I want to see it. Everybody does. We want to see that hospital be successful. And especially with the industrial increase on that side, there's a lot of opportunities for that hospital to generate more revenue. Should it be pre-employment physicals or whatever that may be. There's a lot for you.
Absolutely.
So I want this to work, and I want you guys, but I do, as a public service, I want to make sure the public feels good about management of funding.
Yes, sir.
and what we're doing and making sure that we can back up whatever it is we do. And like I said, I don't know enough about it and I haven't seen anything about it. And if you did send something, I missed it.
Yes, sir.
But it is a concern. It's a concern for me because, like you said, at the end of the day, we have to be good stewards for tax dollars.
Absolutely.
We have to make sure they're going to the right place, and we have to make sure we're doing things legally.
Yes, sir.
Again, from the moment you guys took over, I do see improvement, and I see a well put together presentation, and I want it to all work, but we have an obligation
Yes, sir.
here, and that obligation is to make sure that everything is above board. So
Yes, sir.
that's all I'll say. At the end of the day, I do want to see a change on the compensation stuff.
Yes, sir.
I really do. So,
And,
thank you.
and Councilman, we do have a new policy. We have brought that before our board as well as our general counsel. That has been approved. We have also submitted that to our auditor. So we will share that updated. We do not have bonuses. We do have an incentive package that we have that has been approved, and we will share that with the council.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna go to Mr. Robert.
Can you put that back up on the screen, your presentation?
Yeah, I think Mr. Jarius needs.
I think it's 2 slides back. Another one? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I mean, just in a little packet we were looking through. It shows,
Mr. Robert, can you speak into the mic, please? Thank you.
Yeah, my apologies. Just a little packet that we were going through that public speaker gave us. It shows errors within the report within itself. The total capital expenditure, the math isn't even right on this slide unless you can show me it is. 475, 268, 85, 90, and 65 don't equal 833.
Yeah, there may be.
So
I
that's
believe-
like very worrisome whenever your presentation doesn't actually have the
He's saying the F.
correct numbers within itself too.
The row doesn't put.
And I mean, as Councilman PT was saying, I think y'all have a great facility that can grow and can, provide a great service, continue providing great service on that side of the river, but we need to see accountability for the dollars spent, not contradicting numbers, and like they said, we'd like to see resolution of the audit findings from before. But I look forward to working with y'all in the future. That's all I have.
Yes,
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Joseph?
yes. I want to thank y'all for the report. And from where the hospital was and the way the community felt about the hospital, it is definitely a total environment on the west side of the river. What, I know y'all had your audit, and once again, the audit was sent in, and you corrected all the findings. And one other thing is the board. Once again, that board have made the right decision to whatever the audit has found, they have corrected it. And once again, as the director of the hospital, he only can make the decision, he only can propose the decision and changes to the board, and the board vote on it. So once again, I mean, yes, this has been an uphill battle since we got involved at the hospital, but as new councilman, since you came on, we have seen a big improvement. And we see the direction that this hospital and this board and personnel of the hospital want to bring the West Bank to. So, on that term, I will make a substitute motion to move forward with the budget.
Okay, I do have a substitute motion by Mr. Joseph to approve the budget as presented. I have a second from Mr. Turner. And before I ask for objections or anything, I'll take a minute to a few comments. So, look, I'll try not to repeat too much what my colleague said. Obviously, huge improvement. Like the whole point of bringing in a new board and and a new CEO and everything was that we wanted a hospital that could serve that entire community on the West Bank. I heard stories for years, people passing up Prevost, right, to come to St. Elizabeth Lake on 30. They didn't trust going there. So I see the improvements inside the building, the services that we're offering that we didn't offer. There's long on, jokes for years that, the best thing Prevost did was the lunches. Everybody loved to go eat the lunches. They were cheap and they, packing all that stuff. But with all that being said, as someone who, and I'm not gonna miss word, as someone who went through hell in 2023 with the previous board and the previous staff to better improve that place, whenever I seen the audit report, I was like floored. The parish has I think we're $168 million operating budget this year with 450 employees. We had 3 findings, 3, right? And one of them was a different department, one that we just help administer. The audit report is huge concern. The bid law, the potential bonuses, misappropriation of funds, donating to things that we shouldn't be donating, like those are things that we have to fix, and we have to fix quick. Like I understand that the day-to-day is getting better. You get more patients, you get more services, right? And that is fantastic. But if we can't follow the law while doing it and ensuring that everything that we do is kosher and black and white, like we have a problem. It's a different problem than we had 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago, but it's a huge problem. And so I'm just going to add that I can tell you, as someone who was on the front lines in 23 to really bring change to the community, to the hospital, that if like another audit finding like this, this meeting doesn't go like this. And I can personally guarantee you that. I'll be rallying votes. We'll have to do, there's only 2 things we can do: replace the board and approve your budget. Me and my colleagues, we can't do anything other than that. But just 11 audit findings, and these were not small findings. They were huge. The bid law, that's anybody who works for any kind of government entity knows what that bid law is. $250,000, if it's above it, you got to go out for bid. I'm hoping that we're getting the payroll or payroll stuff in there. I'm really appreciative that y'all brought a professional outside firm to help with this.
Yes, sir.
But just to let you know, we have a lot of things on our plate that we deal with part-time. And I spent many of days over a 2 or 3 week period answering questions about Prevost Hospital. Hey man, it was just 3 years ago, we had to kind of clean house to get better. And this audit comes out. So I'm just giving you a point of view from my glasses sitting over here. I'm really hoping we get our house in order. And this meeting in 27 has got to look 100 times better than what it does right now. The expectation, I'll be honest, the expectation is 0 findings. 0 findings. This is my 7th year on council, and we had 3 findings this year. It's the most we've ever had in my 7 years, with the budget and the staff that the president has, and there's so many things that we are encumbered in. So that's just kind of where I stand. Mr. President does also have a comment. I'll turn it over to you, Ms. Quimon.
Thank you, Chair. So just like we have to respond on our audits monthly, I would like to suggest that the hospital do the same, that in Donaldsonville meeting would be fine. But come to us monthly and let us know what you're doing to correct these audit findings.
Yes, sir.
I think that's just appropriate with the current circumstance.
Yes, sir.
Whatever the council decides to do tonight, I think we should definitely have that in place regardless.
Yeah, I actually love that. It's first Thursday of every month. We're in the Donaldsonville Courthouse. We'll put y'all at the top of the agenda for a quick update.
Yes, sir.
Right, and just run through. It can be one of y'all, or if you want to send a board member or whatever. Just kind of keep us updated. Because I will tell you right now, I'm inclined to approve with that caveat that like that's the end of the leash for me. Yes, so a nice monthly update.
Yes, sir.
And that's just where I'm at. So, do we have any more comments from anyone else? Okay. So the substitute motion is approval as is by Mr. Joseph with a second by Mr. Turner. We do have an objection. So if everyone will please vote yes to approve the both operating and capital budget as is.
Mr. Chairman, I'll add the comment that the parish president made, that they come forward with my substitute motion, that they come forward to the council.
Yep, I like it. Yeah, so the expectation will be, his motion is to approve both budgets, operating and capital, yes, with the expectation that y'all will be first Thursday every month at Donaldsonville Courthouse for 6 o'clock council meetings with updates.
Yes, sir.
All right, and I do have an objection by Mr. Robert. I'm sorry, before we vote, Mr. Petey?
Clarification from Ms. Cinnamon. What is a yay, what is a nay, please, on this substitute?
A yay is approving the operating and capital budget as presented, with the stipulation that we're reported to monthly.
Okay.
And a no is just, if this fails, we will revert to the original motion. So if everyone would please vote. Okay, so the motion does not pass. We are tied 5-5, so the motion did not pass. At this time, we will revert to the original motion offered by Mr. Robert and seconded by Mr. Hillensbeck, which is to defer both operating and capital budgets to the September 19th meeting here in Gonzales. Huh? Oh, yeah, Mr. Arsenault.
What does it mean for operations if we defer?
Our fiscal year ends August 31st.
August 31st.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Robert, would you entertain in your motion to approve the operating budget through the month of September?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
So we're going to approve the operating budget just through September?
Yeah, so on Mr. Robert's motion to delay until September 19th with the caveat that the operating budget will be approved through September, the last day of September of 2026. I don't know if there's 30 or 31 days.
Okay.
And we expect y'all back here on the 19th.
Okay.
And preferably with resolution from the findings, audit findings.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
30th, there's 30 days in September. So September 30th with the expectation that y'all are here on the 19th with a resolution for the findings.
Yes, sir.
So if everyone could please vote yea or nay. All right, and that resolution passes.
Thank you.
So we'll see y'all back in a month?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank y'all, gentlemen. Y'all have a good evening. All right. Let's see. Look, I'm actually going to ask Mr. PT, will you read AB for me while I go run and use the restroom? I done drank a cup of coffee and water.
Agenda item 8B, resolution to establish a speed limit at 25 mile per hour on Cary Lane. That is, I need a motion. Motion, Mr. Vornadin.
Second.
Second, Mr. Cullen. Any objection? Any questions? Hearing none. We do have some speakers for agenda item 8C. I will run through those who do not wish to speak but are in favor of 8C. Any more? Okay. All right. Bear with me, folks. If I mispronounce your name, I apologize. Hannah Landry is present, would not like to speak, and in support of 8C. Lonnie Landry, present, does not wish to speak, but in support of 8C. Ernest Opperman III, present, does not wish to speak, but in support of 8C. Nina Opperman, present, support of 8C, does not wish to speak. Deborah Goplet Janes, does not wish to speak, but in support of 8C. Dixie Colada, in support of 8C, but does not wish to speak. David Christopher Goplet, in support of 8C, but does not wish to speak. Cliff Hydell, in support of 8C, but does not wish to speak. Phil McLaurin, in support of 8C, but does not wish to speak. Fran Tompley, in support of 8C, but does not wish to speak. Benny Drago, in support of 8C, but does not wish to speak. Melanie Ushry, in support of 8C, but does not wish to speak. Rhonda Porta, in support of 8C, but does not wish to speak. Richard Jordan, in support of 8C, but does not wish to speak. Kiana Julian Judson, did I say that right? Okay, Ms. Kiana, in support of 8C, but does not wish to speak. Twyla Collins, in support of 8C, but does not wish to speak. All right, we do have speakers for 8C.
Chair, may I make a comment before the speakers?
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. So I had a good conversation with Councilman Todd Vornado, just in general, about the support for, I personally believe, I know we make adjustments to the Unified Land Cover throughout the year, every year, but I expressed to him that I thought that every 4 years at least, we should have a comprehensive look at the United Development Code, including the master plan. My only suggestion is the possibility to consider. It doesn't matter to me either way, but consider strategic planning is why that's actually what that commission and committee is there for. So there's some benefit in keeping it within the meeting arena when it comes to filming and public meetings and the way those are constructed. But I'm in support of always looking at unified development land code and improving that, especially with what we have going on the West Bank or subdivisions and growth on the East Bank as well. So in full support, whatever the council decides for this agenda item. Thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Barry Bourgeois is present and would like to speak.
Confused on what the issue is tonight, but I'd like to speak anyway. My name is Barry Bourgeois. I live at 5290 Courtyard Drive in the Greens at Pelican Point. I've been in safety for over 40 years now. I'm retired now. But this concerns me as we talk about this plan. And I look through the information on safety in there, and I'm very appreciative of it. And I support reviewing that plan and maintaining it and not deleting from it, but adding to it and making sure that things are appropriate. In the appendix of this document, it discusses the purpose and guidelines and guiding principles dealing with health, safety, and welfare of the residents of Ascension Parish. And that's, to me, is paramount. That's what I did, that's what I believe in, and that's what I think y'all should believe in, or we as a parish should believe in. The ordinance currently deals with transportation systems, recreational systems, parks and playgrounds, public buildings, including schools, affordable homes, public and private utility, water and sewage. Now, when we look at each one of these 5 items, we can see risk. Public schools, the CO2 pipeline that was passing through Sorrento passed within a couple hundred yards, was going to pass through a couple hundred yards of a school. What do we think about that? Or do we think about that? Transportation, hazardous materials driving on the road, of course, we've been having that for years. But all of these items have risk. On page 3 of the document, it says the current plan is intended to promote the health, safety, and welfare of residents of Ascension Parish. That's the big object there. And that's what we should be focusing on. Page 4, it says industrial operations in the parish involve the manufacture and transportation of chemicals. These operations pose a risk to public health and safety and should be adequately separated from highly densitive residential areas. And I know we have zoning and so forth for this. When I worked in a chemical plant for 24 years, we were zoned industrial. And then when they came in with the services that supported the industry, they were put in a supportive role a certain distance from it. But now, as we continue to have these expansions that are coming down the road, we need to look at all of these things. Because our population is not getting less, it's getting greater, and we have more and more subdivisions. Look at Conway down the road, 2,000 homes coming in there.
That's your time, Mr. Barry. Thank you. Our next speaker is Ms. Barbara Bourgeois.
council members. My name is Barbara Bourgeois, and I live in the Greens at Pelican Point in Dara. I'm here tonight because of my concern about the proposed ordinance to entirely remove Appendix 3, the Master Plan and Land Use Plan. This is the ordinance which was adopted in February of 1998 and revised in 2003 and 2009. In my research, there were 3 different master plans, and this is the only one that was in the rule books. On June 18th, the council tabled this ordinance indefinitely because several council members felt that removing
Ms.
it.
Barber, just real quick, so we're not voting tonight to remove anything from the ULDC.
But that's, on June 18th, they tabled to indefinitely table it because some council members felt that removing it would take away the enforcement teeth.
Right,
So
but that's not on the agenda tonight, though, Ms. Barbara. Well, the agenda item tonight is a discussion of a committee made up of.
I'm in support of that.
Right, okay.
But what I was referring to was on June 18th, when they tabled it indefinitely, so it moves forward, and then at that time, they wanted to remove it completely, right?
Right.
Right, so that's what I was addressing. But I'm here tonight in support of the creation of a diverse review committee, including ordinary citizens, to review the 39-page document plan and ensure that we keep all pertinent protections. What I wanted to say is, please don't delete any of those old protections from the rule book tonight with no replacement, and send it to the review committee first and tell us what will replace 17301 and 17302. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Barber. All right. Our next speaker, Ms. Susan Jordan. And for those who don't know, Ms. Jordan may or may not have been your chairman's 4th grade teacher.
That's correct, except it was 5th grade.
5th grade. 5th grade.
So may not.
Yeah, so I'm glad someone remembered.
My name is Susan Jordan. My address is 16347 Highway 931, Prairieville, and I'm a proud retired teacher, assistant principal, and resident of Ascension Parish. I am here tonight to speak in favor of 8C, to form an advisory committee to examine Ascension's master plan for possible changes and/or additions. I cannot stress enough how very important this is to all Ascension residents to be a part of. Our current master plan principle 1 says, protect the public safety and property values by providing adequate separation of industrial, commercial, and residential uses. Principle 2 says, manage growth. Encourage growth only in areas of the parish which can support it with adequate soils, drainage, and physical infrastructure. I am in favor of the creation of an advisory committee, but I have some suggestions for the creation of this committee. It is my understanding that this task has been delegated to the Strategic Planning Committee, which has not met in 2.5 years. I suggest we create a new committee and that it includes some council members and 2 or 3 Ascension Parish residents to ensure that the people of Ascension have input into these very important guidelines that will offer protections for our rural parish, but more importantly, for protecting the safety of our water supply, our electricity needs, and will ensure that our infrastructure will be upgraded and adequate before we jump into more industrial development. The current protections in our master plan are very important to all of us. I understand that recently some of our elected officials have signed NDAs concerning future developments in the parish. Residents are very concerned about the lack of transparency that these non-disclosure agreements indicate, including some residents of Ascension on this new task force committee, along with elected officials who represent the people, would alleviate some of these concerns that the master plan, since it affects all of us in Ascension Parish. And I thank you for your service, all of you up here tonight, representing the concerns of the residents, and I appreciate the time to express my views. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
And
Jordan.
I'm proud of you, Chase.
Thank you. Yeah, heard that, Mom? Is she watching? She's very surprised I'm sitting up here. I will tell you that. I was a firecracker. All right, next up, we got Ms. Denise Drago.
Good evening. My name is Denise Drago, and I live at 15062 Hunter Creek Court in Prairieville, Louisiana. And I'm here this evening to speak in favor of 8C. I would like to make a suggestion of making a new Ascension Parish Master Plan and Unified Land Development Code Review Advisory Committee. I believe if you included councilmen, planning and zoning members, and a couple Ascension Parish residents on this diverse group, this committee made up of those people could come up with some awesome results for Ascension Parish and its future. I would like for residents to be on it because I believe that we need to be more involved. And a lot of times in reporting, y'all will say, okay, we're upgrading 17211, and it takes a lot for a resident to go and look up that. And since we feel we don't have total transparency recently, and we have a feeling of that, I'm not trying to be ugly or point fingers or anything like that. I think residents feel like they need a little bit more input and someone to stand up that could say, hey, this is what we're discussing, and we'd like all of you to know, all the other residents that are concerned. The master plan is a very important codified document to be used as a guide, is what it was originally as. The principal one reads, to protect the public safety and property values, providing adequate separation of industrial, commercial, and residential uses. The principle 2 states manage growth, encourage growth only in areas of the parish which can support it with adequate soils, drainage, and physical infrastructure. So you can see and hear why our codified master plan and Unified Land Development Code, LDC appendix, are so important to us and protecting the future of Ascension Parish. We must protect the health, safety, and welfare of our residents. And I think with a new board, with different people with different views, not that our councilmen cannot do it within house, I think we need to make it a diverse advisory board, just to look at it. They don't vote on anything, but I think with different views, I think our parish would benefit all around. Thank you, and thank you for all your service.
Thank you, Ms. Denise. And our last speaker would be Ms. Teresa Robert.
Thank you for letting me speak. Teresa Robert, Gonzales, Louisiana. I'm here to support the agenda item 7C, which proposes establishing the Ascension Parish Unified Land Development Code and Master Plan Review Advisory Committee. On May 21st, the agenda and item to consider the ordinance to amend it, the Ascension Parish Unified Land Development Code, commonly called LDC, Appendix 3, Master Plan and Land Use, specifically to remove this appendix from the LDC in its entirety, and Planning Commission recommends approval. Now, you're saying we're not talking about this. We are talking about this. This is why we're having, thank you, Jesus, that some people in this council saw that we can't throw out this 39-page plan. And I also, this all is hand in hand, and this is the right reason it came apart. Citizens request that there be a diverse committee with some planning and zoning members, possibly council members, regular citizens. Mr. Quintma, I appreciate what you're saying, but you've been in office 7 years. The Strategic Planning Commission's been around for years. We're not saying they shouldn't look at it, but we would really like a citizens committee that citizens can be part of, that we can speak and question and bring up. I've lived all these years, and I lived through this 39-page plan. This council passed it. It's codified. It went through every district, 11 districts in this parish. 100 people showed at most of those things. It really and truly spoke up, and it was a plan for our parish that the citizens wanted. And then on the June 18th meeting, thank you, Councilman Todd Varnado, he warned you, reminded you that there's some teeth in here that can support the health, safety, and welfare of Ascension Parish residents. And Councilman Brian Hillensbeck and some other councilmen stood up and did that. We really encourage y'all to do this, and please let us be a part of it. The ordinance was tabled with the prospect of forming this committee to review the 39-page master plan that our administration and planning director obviously wants to kill. I contacted the chair of the Planning and Zoning Committee when I saw this, that was endorsed by them, or they wanted it. He said they did not, that the administration approached them about some of the sunsetting parts, that maybe we needed to remove that. Here we are again, last month the data center, now this month we're saying Planning and Zoning wanted to throw out in entirety this plan. That's not true. Like Denise is saying, we need some transparency here. I know y'all are a lot of good people, men and women that are trying to represent us, and we appreciate that. But we need y'all to truly understand this is hugely important, not only to y'all, but to us. This is the plan that was adopted in 2019, and it was passed by Planning and Zoning by one vote. And this one, we've written the process. People were not listened to. That is not what it's been planned. Thank y'all again. I appreciate y'all, and thank you for the service.
All right, thank you, Ms. Teresa.
Chair, I'd like to comment.
Yeah, Mr. President, go ahead.
So I just want to, two things were brought up. Certainly when my name is addressed, I certainly want to comment. So I had a Citizens Advisory Committee before my first term, so I'm not opposed to that whatsoever at all. Zero, none. I encourage resident input. I will tell you that just like utilities, it's only called when needed, and so is strategic planning. It doesn't mean that you can't call a strategic planning board. It doesn't mean you can't have input from residents at every single strategic planning committee. Not only that, you don't reduce down the number of actual participation from an advisory committee when you have a public meeting for all residents to come and voice their opinion and give their input. But I don't have a problem with either one. Do both. I have zero problem with that, none whatsoever. But having a public meeting allows every resident to show up and give their input and talk about each section. And so either way, I don't care, do both. It doesn't matter to me. But I think it's important to have a public meeting and have these meetings addressed publicly so every resident has the opportunity for that transparency. So I want to talk about a little bit about transparency since it was brought up and my name was brought up. So existing councilmen from the last term, Travis, Joel, Chase, here today, we passed some of the toughest planning ULDC regulations ever that existed in this parish, ever, that have only allowed one approval of one major subdivision since we approved that. Adding more wetlands restrictions, adding more detention on site, less density. So to say that we're trying to take away less regulation is simply untrue, because those members and this administration put in the most stringent development code regulations for major cities that ever existed, ever. And we're one of the top restricted parishes in the state when it comes to development. That's why when you look at the statistics and you want to look at the number of new subdivisions compared to before that vote was taken to put in those strict regulations, you had tons of subdivisions being approved. And we really should present that data to the public, because I don't think they understand what we did that day crushed development in this parish. Matter of fact, if you remember correctly, the development community showed up in colored shirts.
Red.
That's correct. To prevent us from passing those strict regulations, but we did so out of the protection of the public. And so I do want to talk about NDAs a little bit, since that has also been brought up and apparently is construed as lack of transparency from an administrative Ascension Parish government standpoint. So when we signed the NDAs, we were competing for a transformational project that was competing with other states. And we signed that with state agencies so that we can compete against Georgia and Texas to bring in one of the most transformational projects in the entire southeast part of this country. And we won it. There's no NDAs that exist today. There's nothing that's being withheld from the public. You happen to do any kind of parish public information request that you want, it's all public. Everything I do, everything is public. And so any information that's in an email or whatever, just ask for it. So we did that in order to win this facility that's going to be transformational, not only for the West Bank, but for the entire region of this state, including every parish around us. And so in order to be competitive, because a state could have just easily came and undercut us. If everything was public and we said, okay, here's our incentives to land this transformational project, then Georgia would say, okay, look, we got all their information. We're not going to release any of Georgia's information now, nor Texas, right? Because they're not going to allow us to know what they're offering in order to land this transformational project. And that was the point of the NDAs, not to slide something around the public or hide something or be suspicious or do whatever is being construed as secretive or anything else. We're competing. We're in competition. And in order to land these transformational projects, there has to be in those negotiations some ability to keep information from our other competitors, because they're simply going to outbid us if they know all that we're trying to offer to land these transformational projects. And so I just wanted to clear that up because it continues to go on and on. It's all over Facebook, and it's a lot of misinformation on Facebook, as we all know, as elected officials. Every one of you have to deal with that on a daily basis, including me. But I just kind of wanted to clear that up, that why these things are happening and what a large part of this council put in place when it comes to development. Because sometimes I think that's forgotten because they're looking at today. They don't realize what we did and what it did, and then have the development community come here in red shirts and bash us and talk about how the economy is going to crash and fall around us. Did any of that happen? No. What happened was you had greater protection for our residents. And listen, we're reviewing the code. We have the opportunity to make it more stricter or less, or more fair, or improvements. That's what the point of reviewing the development code and the master plan is doing. We're not getting rid of anything. We're about to adopt probably a new master plan and some more improvements to a ULDC, which I fully support. So there's no secret here. Nobody's being secretive. And we encourage public input all the time, because I was one of those residents at those meetings before I was elected, fighting against what I believed was right at the time, whether it was the master plan of old or whether it was the sewer or whatever issues that existed, or talking about how we could make improvements in drainage. And then, of course, I was elected and given the opportunity to make those changes. And I think that not only this current council, but the previous council has done a lot to achieve the quality of life for our residents. And I'm going to continue to do so, and I know y'all will too. Thank you, Chair.
I'll make a motion to.
We do have a few more. You can make your motion.
Well, then I'll sit down. He can do his.
Oh, but Mr. Varnado wanted to speak next.
Yeah, I just want to say a few things. So can we do things via ordinance, targeted ordinances that kind of accomplish some of these same goals that I think the administration and ourselves are trying to accomplish? Myself, certainly I have some stuff that I'm personally working on that can be targeted towards stuff like this. But as far as and we did have a great conversation, me and the parish president. I respectfully disagree in the fact that we need to go to another committee, because our ordinances state that if we have the sponsors that, and the administration does it a lot, this parish council does it a lot, go straight to the council without subcommittees if you have the sponsors. So that's a current ordinance that we all use. So strategic planning, if I remember correctly, whenever we were elected, it was something that was really not favorable across the board, to older members as well as some of the administration. So with that being said, I don't think at all it needs to go to a subcommittee. I think this council can do exactly what we're asking and what I support. I will make an amendment to this I'd like to add, let me pull it up, sorry, it closed. Section 3, membership. I'd like to make a motion, amend the current resolution. Section 3, I'd like to add 4 citizens to be interviewed, maybe through the Personnel Committee. And we can put out a notice for, maybe 4 citizens that want to serve on the committee, because initially I was kind of back and forth on this, thinking maybe 1 from each district would be sufficient, so everybody would have their input from each respective district. But it's very hard to get council members all at the same board meeting, drainage and all these other things. So to have, almost 20 people to gather in the same room all the time, same schedule, it's next to impossible. So I would make a motion to add to Section 3, 4 citizens to be interviewed by the Personnel Committee. And we can put out, I guess, public notices for those 4 folks that are interested. And I would also, it's kind of vague in my opinion. Y'all can give me your feedback, but looking at it, the committee shall elect a vice chair. It says nothing really about how this panel goes about electing these 3 members from parish council or the planning commission. And I would say add language to those 2 statements to be elected by, to be appointed by each respective board's chairman. The parish council for the 3 members to be put on that board. And I would add 3 members of the planning commission to be appointed via the planning chair. Same thing for the council. Right? You got that? Yeah, okay. That'll be my motion.
Okay, so that is a motion with amendments from Mr. Vornado and a second by Mr. Robert. Yeah, Mr. Joseph?
I just want to make a comment on the changes that we're looking. I know a lot of people don't like strategic planning, but from the point of view from representing the West Bank, representing District 1 that bases the largest land district, and most of it, I would say 70% of it now is heavy industrial. And I've been working with organization, with the parish government and your parish council approve us going for small community planning. And because of that, we have learned that the West Bank cannot fit in this current plan we have right here. We have a small amount of property. We can't afford the houses that this side of the river built. We want 3 houses per acre. We're working on how much land we have available in that area right now for developers to come. And currently, of all the work, all the jobs looking and everything, have not had one developer outside the city limits of Downsonville came to me and said, we want to build something. But they're all going to Downsonville because their rules are different. We have the strictest rules they can be for developers. And I feel with this plan, without going strategic planning and talking about it and discussing the West Bank, how it will affect the West Bank. And you may say I'm selfish about it, but this current plan affect the West Bank. And your future plan, I see, will affect the West Bank on affordability. I'm not talking about project homes or nothing, but currently, an average house is costing $300,000. And I don't see anyone on the West Bank running over there to build a house, $300,000. So this proposal you have, I agree, but the plans have to look different, not the way it currently is right now. And I feel that my district will be, if you think it's bad now, it would be worse. And the people I represent won't be there to be represented. So I make the motion that we go to strategic planning to discuss this further.
All right, so we have a substitute motion from Mr. Joseph to move this agenda item in its entirety to strategic planning. Well, I need a second first. Does anybody second Mr. Joseph? All right, hearing none, so that motion fails. And Mr. Varner, you got another comment?
Yeah, I just also wanted to say that we already have existing codes that basically our fee schedules, our drainage requirements, our traffic code requirements are already targeted between the East and West Bank. They're not the same currently. So can we do some targeted development codes that are maybe not arbitrary? That's kind of a line that we fight, and I've talked to Mr. Joseph about these things. That is, in fact, something we need to do and look at more higher density. If that's what the West Bank is craving, we can certainly do that. I think we both agree that the East Bank and the West Bank have different needs, vastly different needs in that category. So yeah, I would absolutely agree with you on that, but I would certainly object. Well, never mind, the motion failed. So that's all I would say. And one more thing, sorry. This is just a resolution, by the way. This is nothing that has any teeth. This is just a resolution, folks. And like I told the parish president in our conversation, if this thing passed with 11 votes tonight, that still does not guarantee nothing gets done, because the efficacy of the board and the board members that we pick, even if we get to the point of picking, electing the board members and electing four, if this motion passes, electing four folks from the public, we still have to get folks that are knowledgeable in these fields to make this board effective, to come up with good ideas. Anybody can say no on anything. I mean, anybody can sit up here and say, no, I don't want development and this and that. But what we don't want, me personally, and I'm not speaking for anybody else, is we want it to be effective and to be able to maybe bring stuff that maybe we ain't seen. Maybe it was something that we hadn't talked about. And if we can't do that, then this goes nowhere regardless if this passes 11 to nothing, or 10 to nothing, I'm sorry. So I just want to make that known. That's all I got. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman. Kind of just want to point out just.
Yeah, I think
Play it safe.
I think you and I maybe about to say the same thing.
I'll let you go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so there's a few things in the resolution that I guess the proper term would be illegal. In the resolution, so the council has no authority to direct parish employees. The resolution states that the planning director shall be a point of it and make all resources available at this committee's, at their ask or recommendation. We don't have to do, we don't have the authority to do that per the Home Rule Charter, and an advisory committee surely doesn't. It also states that recommendations will be sent to the council per ordinance. All ULDC changes and modifications must be submitted to planning. And just for clarification, per state law, the zoning commission adopts a master plan. The council does not adapt that. And a question would be on the updates. I'm assuming the chairperson for the committee would give the updates, and when and where would they do that? So that's just four comments I have, that if passed as the language as is, it just carries no water. We don't have the authority to direct parish employees. And also this committee can't send anything directly to the council. All ULDC changes have to start at the planning commission per Ascension Parish ordinance.
Chair, if I may.
Yeah, Mr. President, go ahead.
I'm not sure why you can't have a citizen advisory committee and also do strategic planning because it is official committee, that then when you talk about things at the Citizens Advisory Committee, it goes to strategic planning. It's an official meeting. It then can be, those items, once discussed there, can then be sent to the council. Can you imagine if we're going to discuss the ULDC in a council meeting? Pack your lunch. You hear me? Pack your lunch. That is what strategic planning is for. And even though it hasn't existed, that is the perfect avenue to then, through the legal process, because it does have teeth, to then be put to the council, put to the finance, put to the planning commission, and doing it. You can do both, and both can be productive. But if you want to be in the legal realm of things, strategic planning is essentially how you do it. And just because we haven't had meetings doesn't mean we can't have meetings. And so you can't achieve all of these goals by doing both and getting the citizen input. And you can also have citizen input at the strategic planning as well. And so you have that double opportunity to get both inputs at both levels. I had a citizens advisory committee. You're more than welcome to do so. You can do that at any given time. Several, as long as you don't have a quorum, y'all can post that. You can use 109, 110. I'm happy to schedule that for you. Work with Cinnamon to do just that. Discuss these issues, break down the code so you can start talk about certain parts of the code so that people doesn't have such a learning curve to go through the entire ULDC. There is a way to do this that's easier and legal by doing both. And that's my comment. Again, it's okay either way with me. I encourage the legislative branch to get involved in our laws to better protect our citizens. This is a perfect avenue to do just that. Thank you.
I will just add, in 2020 and 2021, I was the strategic planning committee chairman, and so I want to say we made roughly 7 to 8 modifications. We started with about 30, and through the strategic planning and then the planning committee before it got to council, obviously things were weeded up, but my advice would be to whoever's making the motion was that I would have this committee report their recommendations to the strategic planning committee, and whatever's passed out of strategic planning goes straight to the planning commission and then goes to the council, because the proper flow is that the council shouldn't be on our agenda until it's ready to at introduction of an ordinance, right? We introduce it and then we come back and then we debate, we make amendments, and then we vote on it and whatnot. So my recommendation, if maybe Mr. Vornado, if you want to add to your motion, would be to give the updates to the strategic planning and let it go through the process from there.
I would
Still have the advisory committee?
I would say go to zoning. I'm comfortable with going to zoning. I mean, strategic planning, I think everybody in agreement's here. Everybody, when I got elected, was like, this is, everything goes straight to the council or the zoning or the planning department, and it's just, we haven't met since 2.5 years since I've been here. So, and we've changed ordinances. We went through that thing and done all sorts of stuff. So, my recommendation, I would add to the motion I made, I would add to section 9 and say submitted its final recommendations to the zoning committee. I'm fine with that.
Can I make one more change?
You can still do another substitute motion, but.
Yeah. The planning department representative, they can come if they want, if they feel welcomed. That way they're not required.
I ain't making a motion or nothing. I'm just sitting up here minding my own business.
Well, why are you yelling? Nobody else is talking. You're the only one yelling.
You addressed the question to me.
All right, let's see. Y'all hang tight. Let me get my bearings. So,
I'm trying to get the language right.
I don't know what you're
Section
talking about,
3.
Ponder, but I'm sorry if you think I said something to you.
So you made an amended motion?
so currently, Mr. Vornado has amended motion to change the language on who picks the members, which clarified that would be the the council chairman and on section 3 and the planning chairman. He clarified section 3 to add 4 citizens to be added and chosen per the personnel committee. And then the third amendment would be to give the updates and recommendations directly to the planning and zoning.
I'll second that.
All right, so that is the motion with the amendments with a second from Mr. Robert. And yet, Mr. Hillensbeck, what did you?
The planning department, like, not required, but they more than welcome to join.
Okay, so we would, I'll prefer if you added it just all one clean motion.
Okay.
All right, and then so the fourth part, Mr. Varnado agrees to add the amendment that the planning department representative shall be optional, along with the where's the other language? I'm scrolling. I'm scrolling through them. Give me one.
Section 9.
Is it section 9?
For the zoning?
No, for the language that states, the planning department shall provide administrative and staff support. So, see, that needs to be added in there as well, that the planning director and staff support shall be optional.
You're looking at section 3?
Yeah, section 3. You see the sentence above the underlined paragraph?
Change shall to may.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all you got to, just
Okay.
change it to may instead of shall.
Is that clean enough so far, Ms. McKee?
I got it.
Got it.
Okay, let's see. And Mr. Cullen has.
Kim, all this is legal?
Yeah,
I just want to make sure.
Look, and you still, yeah, I forgot you.
I don't look good in orange.
Yeah.
No,
It's all good?
Chase did correct what I needed, but I just wanted to make certain that whenever we start talking about the master plan, the master plan belongs to the planning commission. Council has nothing to do with it. ULDC, yes, y'all approve ordinances, what have you, but I just want to make certain that you guys are not overstepping, because the planning commission is either or. You guys elected to have a planning commission pursuant to RS 33-106, which eliminates it from you guys having to deal with it and having it at these meetings. So that's the planning commission handles all of the issues with considering changes to the master plan and stuff of that nature, because you guys gave that up. So I'm a little leery on you guys. Now,
It's just this is just a resolution to create an advisory committee.
I can't hear.
Well,
And it's reporting to the zoning. We can add planning and zoning.
Just because you put planning commission members on there doesn't make it planning commission.
I'm just.
Who it reports to. So anything dealing with the master plan, go to planning, anything with ULDC goes to zoning.
yeah, we're just all talking. So just to be clear, all right, so this is an advisory committee. They're making recommendations to the Planning and Zoning Commission per the amendment.
Correct. I just wanted to make certain. I know you guys talked
Like,
about sending the ordinances back here.
Right, and that's why I stated that the council does not adopt the master plan. It is not codified in the ULDC.
Correct.
The zoning commission adopts that. So whatever recommendations they have will be going to zoning. It won't be
Correct.
coming to us. So I'm okay with that if you
Yes.
are.
As far as the ULDC, as far as master plan goes, that doesn't even come to you.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Correct. Okay.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right, let's see. We got one more, Mr. Arsenault.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Ms. Cullen, were you? Okay, I didn't. Yep, Mr. Arsenault.
So to echo a few other things that have been said, number one, we want to review the master plan, we want to review the land code, and keep that living documents. My question is, why don't we go what's the thought in not going to the strategic planning committee? What are we accomplishing instead of using what we already have in place?
As per the administration, as well as, I guess, from what I was told when I was elected, that it's not needed. And our ordinance states that if we get the needed co-signers on this resolution, we don't need it. And we can vet this through the committee, and then it would go to the proper board. That's where the public comment section is. That's where that would be brought there, and they would have the same thing. The strategic planning, none of us used it. None of us called for that. Matter of fact, we was exactly told that we didn't need it. So why are we now just so pushing that? Because we've done other things in the UDC since I've been on this board to all of a sudden be pushing the planning commission. I mean, the strategic planning. I just think it's not needed because we have the co-sponsors as per the ordinance for the resolution to even be put on here. And the board, again, if this board, the efficacy of this board is how they get together and gather the information, or the lack thereof, and it goes nowhere, regardless. So it's an uphill climb, even if the resolution passed. It's a massive uphill climb. Because last time that these major changes were done, we hired somebody to the tune of, what, $400,000, $350,000? And I don't think that this board at this point in time is going to want to go for something like that. Just my opinion. I would be for that too. That was kind of what I was speaking to whenever we were talking about the master plan. Originally, the codified portion was for somebody to come in, but again, that's up to this board if they want to do something like that. But this is just to get the ball rolling. It's just a resolution. I don't know why it seems to be such a big deal.
I'm not making a big deal. They're just
Chair, I would like
trying to get some
to answer
clarification.
Mr. Arsenault's question.
Yeah, go ahead, Will.
So, I'm not sure if the administration ever made an official statement to get away with the strategic planning. It's no different than utilities. We don't go to utilities every month until it's needed, just like we did recently with the issue. It's no different than strategic planning. You can still have the advisory committee, pass the resolution, get 4 citizens, do it. Strategic planning provides you the opportunity to host an official public meeting, have staff there that is required, and get public comment. I have yet to hear that this is going to be a public meeting with the advisory committee. I don't know. It's not had been discussed. And that's the problem with doing something without thoroughly thinking it through. I want to see it successful. So just passing a resolution without going through all the process and methodologies for which to have an end product, which I believe is the goal here of every council member here, is to make changes to protect the public. I'm understanding that's the goal. If that is the goal, there's no reason you can't have an advisory committee that then makes suggestions to the strategic planning to discuss those in a public meeting, then the strategic planning, and spend that time, because that's going to require a ton of time. I don't know if your zoning and planning commission are going to go through all of these things and the interaction between the advisory committee and the planning and zoning and the confusion between the two, and then y'all keeping up with all of what's going on there because it's not in a proper methodology for when it needs to go to y'all, for y'all to fully discuss. Are packets going to be made available, or discussions or comments going to be made available? None of this has been discussed. But providing an avenue for something that exists already makes this process achievable to the ultimate goal is to protect the public and change and give input on the master plan through the proper methodology, through the zoning and planning, per the home rule charter and the laws that are laid out for which the planning commission does its thing, that we have not chosen to change, as well as the council procedures for ultimately getting to a stage of ordinance, and it's fully public, the whole process. There's no reason you can't have it all and say, oh, we just don't want to go to strategic. There's just no reason. If that helps answer your question, Mr. Arsenault. Thank you.
Mr. Hillinsback.
Yeah, my concern, usually when you have committees, that definitely aren't needed, that we can bypass right now, you send it there to kill it. And that don't need to happen. Public can come and have public discussion at the planning and zoning meetings when they are there. That's it.
All right, so we do have a motion with amendments on it. And I would just make a comment that, whenever council members came in 2023, I absolutely recommended not having committee meetings just to have them. But obviously, the committee is, I appoint, committees every year, a chairperson, a vice chair. So, when you want to have things, especially like this, the committee is there. But my previous term, we had a lot of committee meetings just to have them. Like half the agendas were updates this, updates that, whatever. So, all right, so we have a motion from Mr. Vornado with, I believe it's roughly 4 amendments attached, which we discussed. I'll go over one more time that the council and planning chairperson will pick the members from those two bodies. We will add 4 citizens to be added and chosen per the personnel committee. We replaced shall with may in reference to the planning director and or his or her staff and being available. And the 4th one would be that the committee would give all updates to the planning and zoning committees. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Can we clarify, is it the planning and zoning or the planning or zoning? Which
So,
Planning or, depending on which one.
right. I would say or, right? ULDC planning, master plan, zoning. Right. Okay, and I believe I have a second from Mr. Hillensbeck on that motion. Look, so first we're actually going to vote twice. We're going to vote on the 4 amendments, and then we'll vote on the. Wait, no, it's not an ordinance. We don't have to do that. All right, we're just going to make one vote on the resolution as amended. All right. Is there any objection? Yes. All right. We do have objection. If everyone would please vote, yea or nay. All right, resolution passes 6-4. All right, moving along, public hearing ordinances, 9A, reading of an ordinance to acquire a parcel of immovable property being 1.27 acres located in section 28, T11S or 14E, Ascension Parish, Louisiana, designated as unnamed lot for the price of $20,000 plus cost of closing as more fully described and shown in Exhibit A and Exhibit B. Mr. Dupatti.
Purpose, to acquire a parcel of immovable property being 1.270 acres located in section 28, township 11 south, range 14 east, Ascension Parish, Louisiana, designated as unnamed lot for the price of $20,000 plus the cost of closing are more fully described and shown in Exhibit A and Exhibit B attached to and made a part hereof. Whereas Ascension Parish government desires to acquire the said certain immovable property, and whereas there is a need and public purpose for the acquisition of the said certain immovable property for Ascension Parish government, that is to improve drainage and control flood waters in the area where the land to be acquired is located, and whereas Ascension Parish government does hereby desire to acquire said property, servitudes, and rights of way associated with the land shown on Exhibit A and Exhibit B attached to and made it hereby authorize the office of the parish president to do whatever is necessary to enter into negotiations and acquire said property, and now therefore be it ordained the Ascension Parish governing authority authorize the purchase of the parcel of immovable property being described as unnamed lot containing 1.270 acres on a map by James W. Falgood dated July 7, 2026, located in section 28, township 11 south, range 14 east, southeastern land district west of the Mississippi River, Ascension Parish, Louisiana, for the price of $20,000. Our appraised value, whichever is lesser, plus the cost of closing, as more fully described and shown in Exhibit A and Exhibit B, attached here to and made a part hereof. This ordinance is being adopted in conformity with Section 601 of the Ascension Parish Charter. The purchase of the property is subject to approval by the parish attorney and contingent upon the seller being able to deliver the merchantable title. Clint Coimore, parish president, is hereby authorized to sign all necessary documents on behalf of the Ascension Parish government for the purchase of the property. This ordinance having been submitted to a vote, the vote done as follows.
I have a motion to open public hearing by Ms. PT, a second by Mr. Arsenault. No public speakers. Motion to close by Mr. Cullen with a second by Mr. Vornado.
Motion moved.
Motion to move the ordinance by Ms. PT, second by Mr. Vornado. Are there any objections? Hearing none, so moved. 9D, reading of an ordinance to revoke an existing 15-foot servitude located across track 1A2A2 of the Chase Isaminger and Elevated Homes property located at 12459 Orsino Lane. Property is depicted on the map showing a simple subdivision for Chase Isaminger and Elevated Homes. Mr. Dupatti.
So revoke an existing 15-foot servitude located across track 1A2A2 of the Chase Isaminger and Elevated Homes property at 12459 Arsenal Lane. Property as depicted on the map showing a simple division for Chase Isaminger and Elevated Homes by Earls and Associate LLC dated July 16, 2025. Sorry, June 16, 2025, and recorded at instrument number 1113304. Whereas the petitioner has petitioned the Ascension Parish Council to revoke an existing 15-foot servitude located across tract 1A2A2 of the Chase Isaminger and Elevated Homes property at 12459 Arsenal Lane. Property as depicted on the map showing a simple division for Chase Isaminger and Elevated Homes for Earls and Associates LLC dated June 16, 2025, and recorded at instrument number 1113304. And whereas the Planning Department and Engineering Department have reviewed and researched said request and have no objection to the revocation, the Parish of Ascension hereby ordains that it grants approval for the revocation of an existing 15-foot servitude located across tract 1A2A2 of the Chase Isaminger and Elevated Homes property at 12459 Arsenal Lane. Property as depicted on the map showing a simple division for Chase Isaminger and Elevated Homes by Earls and Associate LLC dated June 16, 2025, and recorded at instrument number 1113304, attached hereto and made a part hereof as Exhibit A. Repeal all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith are hereby and henceforth repealed. Severability, and if any provision of this ordinance is held to be invalid, such invalidity shall not affect the other provisions herein, which can be given effect without the invalid provisions. And to this end, the provisions of this ordinance are hereby declared to be severable. Effective date, this ordinance shall become effective 15 days after adoption.
So before we open public hearing, I do have to apologize. We had 2 red cards on the previous item of 9C. Ms. Twyla Collins was against the item. She was present but did not wish to speak. And also Ms. Kianka Judson, also present, did not wish to speak, was against the previous item. I do apologize. We had a bunch of cards and we overseen them. So I do want to enter those into the record. Now going back to, yep. So we have a motion to open public hearing by Ms. PT, a second by Mr. Vornado. Motion to close by Mr. Robert with a second by Mr. Vornado with no public speakers. Motion to move the ordinance by Mr. Cullen with a second by Mr. Vornado. Is there any objection? Hearing none, so moved. 9G, reading of an ordinance to revoke and relocate an existing 12-foot utility servitude corresponding to a relocation of and revision to the existing right-of-way of Cotton Drive from cul-de-sac currently centered on the western end of and between lots AP 1F1 and F1 to a T turnaround at the southwest portion of lot AP 1F1. Mr. Dupatti.
And relocate an existing 12-foot utility servitude corresponding to the relocation and revision to the existing right-of-way of Cotton Drive from a cul-de-sac currently centered on the western end of and between lots AP1F1 and F1 to a T turnaround at the southwest portion of lot AP1F1. Said utility servitude and right-of-way being more fully described on the boundary survey and subdivision map by McClellan Taylor, Inc. at instrument number 1114896 dated June 18, 2025. Whereas the petitioner has petitioned the Ascension Parish Council to revoke and relocate an existing 12-foot utility servitude corresponding to the relocation of and revision to the existing right-of-way of Cotton Drive from a cul-de-sac currently centered on the western end of and between lots AP1F1 and F1 to a T turnaround at the southwest portion of Lot AP1F1, said utility servitude and right-of-way being more fully described on the boundary survey and subdivision map by McClendon Taylor, Inc., at instrument number 1114896, dated June 18, 2025. And whereas the Planning Department and Transportation Department have reviewed and researched said request and have no objection to the revocation, and now therefore be it ordained by the Ascension Parish Council that the revocation and relocation of an existing 12-foot utility servitude corresponding to the relocation of the revision to the existing right-of-way of Cotton Drive from cul-de-sac currently centered on the western end of and between lots AP1F1 and F1 to T turnaround at the southwest portion of lot AP1F1, said utility servitude and right-of-way being more fully described on the boundary survey and subdivision map by McClendon Taylor, Inc., at instrument number 1114896, dated June 18, 2025, attached here to and made a part hereof as Exhibit A, with relocation as per map attached to Exhibit B. Repeal all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith are hereby and henceforth repealed. Severability, if any provision of this ordinance is held to be invalid, such invalidity shall not affect the other provisions herein which can be given effect without the invalid provisions. And to this end, the provisions of this ordinance are hereby declared to be severable. Effective date, this ordinance shall become effective 15 days after adoption. This ordinance having been submitted to a vote, the vote thereon was as follows.
We have a motion by Mr. Robert with a second by Mr. Vornado to open public speaking. 1 second, Mr. Joseph. We do have two people present against the item would not like to speak. The first is Ms. Kianka Judson. The second, Ms. Twyla Collins. Both are present, do not wish to speak, and are against item, I'm assuming J, I. So, and with that said, Mr. Joseph made a motion to close public speaking, second by Mr. Vornado. We have a motion to approve the ordinance by Mr. Joseph with a second by Mr. Arsenault. Is there any objection? Hearing none, so moved. A motion by Mr. Vornado to enter executive session with a second by Mr. Robert. If everyone would please vote to enter executive session or not. To enter. All right, we will enter executive. All right. I have a motion to reconvene by Mr. Arsenault.
Second.
Second by Ms. Beatty. We are reconvened. Chair entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to give authority as requested for an additional amount based on the conversations had.
All right, we have a motion from Mr. Beatty.
Second.
Second by Mr. Hillsbeck. Any objection? Hearing none?
Motion to adjourn.
So moved. Motion adjourned by Mr. Cullen and a second by Mr. Frank. We adjourn.